Waterfalls Yamashita treasure signs. Waterfalls are one among the common places where the Japanese Imperial Army preferred to hide their Yamashita treasures. In my own personal opinion, they had hidden their treasures on such places because they can utilize both the water and the location as protections. Thus, waterfalls treasure deposits involves dealing more about the water. In most cases, signs or markers are often found on the top portion of the waterfall. So if you suspect a certain waterfall with hidden Yamashita treasure deposit, then the top portion of the waterfall is the important area that you need to carefully search for signs or markers. By correctly interpreting the meanings of these signs or markers, you will be guided into the exact spot about where to dig or break a certain huge rock. But based on my own personal experiences, waterfall treasure deposits often involves breaking hard rocks. And sometimes, rocks with concretes, which make it quite hard to break. But, the worst part is the danger of you, or any of your crew, from accidentally falling down from the waterfall, down to its bottom. Let me share you one clever design on how the Japanese Imperial Army had hidden their Yamashita treasure on a waterfall. However, this design only works on small waterfalls, because they need to divert the flow of water from the top to a slight different direction. Let's have an illustration to better explain their clever design when it comes to this kind of particular location. Shown on this illustration is the bird's eye view, or top view portion of a waterfall. What the Japanese Imperial soldiers did was to excavate a canal on one of its sides. This canal must have the same width as the current pathway, good enough to accommodate the entire flow of the water. When the water starts to flow on the canal, the Japanese Imperial soldiers can now block this portion to completely divert the flowing water. Based on my own opinion, they used rocks and bags filled with soil for temporarily blocking the remaining flow of water. Now that they completely managed to divert the water, it was time to hide their Yamashita treasure. What they often do was to climb down on the original portion, or cliff, of the diverted waterfall. In most cases, they dig, or excavate, somewhere on the middle portion, until it was good enough for them as hiding spot for their precious treasure deposit. Due to the difficulty of digging, especially somewhere at the inclined portion of the waterfall, the Japanese Imperial soldiers don't usually dig deep enough. Thus, they often go for a depth of 5 to 15 feet deep only. But on some cases, they don't even need to dig. It was because they can use their special cement, which was similar to one of the projects we visited in the past. When the group of treasure hunters working on it managed to divert the waterfall, a thick concrete wall was revealed on the surface of the cliff. As their skilled climber went down and started breaking it, we witnessed those perfectly shaped rectangular form of gold bars got unveiled, although they were still covered with asphalt. Another actual experience that I had seen with my own eyes was that the treasure deposits were piled down at the bottom of the water. In my own opinion, the Japanese Imperial soldiers were able to safely dive down under the water, since they temporarily diverted the waterfall. then right at the spot where the original waterfalls from above, it was where they exactly piled their treasure deposit. Going back to the design, when the Japanese Imperial soldiers finally managed to hide their treasure deposit on the cliff, then the rest of the job was to put back the flow of water to its original course. Overall, the water acts as the main obstacle that prevents anyone from attempting to recover the treasure deposit. Most amateur treasure hunters who aren't aware with such clever design often put themselves at risks. And this design is just one among the other few tricky designs of waterfalls treasure deposits by the Japanese Imperial Army. There are several Waterfalls Yamashita treasure signs, but let us just cover on this video the 3 most common signs around. Let's start with this one, the Taki Falls. This is a kanji symbol for the Taki Falls. By the way, what does Taki mean? Its meaning in Japanese term is a plunging waterfall. Let's proceed to the second sign of a waterfall. Is this another different form of kanji symbol for a waterfall? Whatever your answer is, it is actually a basic drawing of the waterfall. Let's try and improve it to reveal more of its details. Can you distinguish it now? And finally, let's proceed on the third sign of a waterfall. Again, what do you notice on this one? Like the previous waterfall sign, it is obviously a simple drawing of a waterfall again. Let's try to do some improvement onto it. So how do you exactly interpret the meaning of a Waterfall Yamashita treasure signs? Well, it basically represents the location of the waterfall. Thus, if you just happen to discover such sign alone, which for example, is engraved on a rock surface, then what you have to do is to search the nearest waterfall on that area. When you found the waterfall, there will surely be another signs, or markers on this location, that will dictate about what you need to do next. On Yamashita treasure maps, waterfall signs are more often used as landmarks. Landmarks are places that you need to look around, in order to confirm that you are at the right location. Moreover, Waterfalls Yamashita treasure signs alone do not give any clue about the exact spot of the hidden treasure deposit, but not unless it is paired with another sign or marker. Did you enjoy watching my video? If yes, and if you are new to my channel, then you may want to subscribe, like this video, and hit the small notification bell icon. By subscribing and hitting the bell icon, you will receive alerts or notifications about my new published videos. If you want a reading material about treasure hunting, then you may want to visit my blogging website at treasurehunt.club. Thank you very much for watching, and happy treasure hunting.